Welcome back to Stuff About Money. I'm Xavier Angel, certified financial planner, and I'm joined by the distinguished
Ooh.
Eric Garcia, certified financial planner.
Distinguished.
Distinguished.
What distinguishes me, Xavier? You just making words up.
Not look, we all learn a lot. We gain a lot of knowledge from you.
Mm, mm-hmm,
You've got a lot to teach.
mm-hmm,
I've got a lot to learn from you.
mm.
Hey, I'm glad to be back on. It's
Where you been, man? You've
dude,
been MIA.
this has been the second recording this year.
You
Life is
remember how to do
just
this?
what
Do you
was that? Do I
do you
remember?
remember anything about money?
I'll never forget anything about money.
Okay.
So,
All
although
right.
I do still have some things to learn.
Okay. All right. What do we?
So,
So
look, it's been a busy first part of the
yeah,
year.
it's been busy. It's been busy. And right now it's Mardi Gras time. So for our out of town listeners, we're recording on the Thursday before Mardi Gras. So what happens is for the next 5 days, it's just like New Orleans almost pretty much shuts down. Kids are out of school and
Only
traffic.
5 days. I think it's
6
more like
days.
a week we shut down.
Well, we're recording on Thursday, so I said for the next 5 days,
All right.
but 6 days, whatever the number is. You see, we don't even know, but it gets crazy around here. I'm excited because I learned that I have another place to pee on Mardi Gras Day this morning. It's a big thing. Xavier's laughing. I learned this morning that through my distinguished co-host Xavier Angel, I have a new place to pee on Mardi Gras Day. So for those of you not from New Orleans, or maybe if you visited for Mardi Gras, it's have a place to go pee on Mardi Gras
Wait,
Day.
hold
is-
on, hold on, hold on, Eric.
What?
Another place to pee. So where have you been peeing?
You find places. You find place or you hold it.
There you go. Most people will hold it.
So everyone who's not from New Orleans is listening to this like, what the hell are they talking about? If you're from New Orleans, you're like, I got to make good friends with Xavier so I can have a place to pee on Mardi Gras Day. So that was exciting. I'm excited to know about that. Anyway, quick
So
story.
we
Oh,
we
go
do
ahead.
we do need to share what you're talking about. So typically Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday, we're out on the parade route. I'd say from 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to
You, not me.
4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, the first parade starts rolling at I think 7 a.m.
Is that-
and the last may start rolling around 2. So
It's a long day.
if you don't have a place to go to the bathroom, you're generally holding it all day.
Or you don't get out there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I've got to hold our spot down on St. Charles. So
Yeah.
they dropped
I
me
bet they
off. I probably popped my first beer around 6:15, 6:30, drinking and eating a majority of the day. It's a great
The
time.
majority, half the people listening to this are like, man, it's just any other Tuesday for us. Not for us though. All right. So I'm getting ready to walk out the house this morning, take my daughter to school. And she's excited. She's more excited than she normally is. And she goes, this is going to be a great day, today and tomorrow. I said, why is it going to be a great day? She goes, because I'm going to use a lot of my coupons. So let me tell you what's going on here. So her teacher runs this classroom economy. The kids get rewarded with money for doing what they're supposed to do, for turning work in, for showing up. They have jobs around the classroom, and they get compensated. And then they have things that they could buy with their money. So this morning, my daughter's all excited because she's been saving up money. And there's a lesson here. She's been saving up her coupons or saving up her money to buy coupons for certain privileges. So 3 privileges that she's buying today and tomorrow. Number 1, it's stinky feet coupon. So she can take her shoes off in school while she's working. All right? How cool is that? So she's super excited. So we had a big conversation about what socks she could wear. So we had to find the right pair of socks for her this morning. Number 2, second coupon is work on the floor day. So she can do all her classwork on the floor, not sit at her desk. And then tomorrow, I think this is like the most expensive one. It's sit in the teacher's chair all day. So she can sit in the teacher's chair and work from the teacher's desk. So what was interesting, what was exciting for me was to watch her excited about spending money that she has been saving up for these privileges, for these particular events, if you will. A lot of times we talk about save your money. You gotta, You got to retire one day. But I'm a big fan of spending money on experiences. There's something super satisfying about saving money for particular, for something specific, and then having the experience. And you put work in.
We actually talked about that on one of our past ones.
Did we?
Saving up for experiences.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As opposed to going out there and purchasing things.
So anyway, I'm just sharing that story. My 9-year-old was all excited because she'd been saving up her money to buy coupons so that she can have stinky foot day, work on the floor day, and sit at the teacher's desk day. But that's not what we're talking about today.
So, actually, I got a question for you since you brought that up, because I think that is a great topic, especially because we're still in the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. So, what do you do, Eric? When are you sitting in the beginning of the year? And I already know the answer to this, but do you have a goal in place to where you're saying, you know what, let me save up because this is the end game on what I want to accomplish this year? I mean, how do you go about that? What are you doing to plan for that?
Sure. Yeah.
And I know I threw you off with that one.
This is nowhere near what we're supposed to be talking about today, but whatever. I mean, you're still rusty because you haven't been around for a little while. Yeah, of course. I have specific things that I'm planning and saving money for. Most of them this year are more long term and not necessarily things that I want to do this year necessarily. But yeah, I'm usually saving money with a specific target in date,
right,
in mind. So one of the things that I'm funding, we're talking about this pretty regularly, especially with our business owner clients. Mm-hmm. We're calling it the work optional account. Right, so a big phenomenon going on in our country right now. You've heard it. It's called quit in place. Have you heard of that? Mm-hmm. It's a big trend on TikTok and social media where people are they're just showing up, doing the bare minimum to get paid and then leave. Right, so most people, they're grinding out work, and most people are they're tired of the grind. So work optional is hey, you know what? I may come to a point where I don't like the work I'm doing. I don't want to do this work. Or I want to work maybe at a slower pace. And what I'm calling, again, the work optional account is an account that is purposed for that to eventually one day put you in a position to where you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go take this other job that I like better that I might not be getting paid as much. Or I'm only going to work 3 days a week or whatever the goal is. So I'm hyper focused on my work optional account.
And it gives you the opportunity to be able to say, you know what? I'm ready to make a switch in my career. I'm ready to do this. You now have the assets available to be able to do that.
For the record, I have not quit in place. I absolutely 100% love my job. I love working with people, and I love talking about money, and I want to do more of that.
Mm-hmm. But having those funds there, or having the money to be able to do that, is a beautiful thing. I mean, I go back 3 years ago. When I made the decision to leave my previous employer, to go independent and to merge our practices together, I would not have been able to do that if I didn't have the cash flow there to allow me to do that. So it's definitely a great place to go. And I hear you talking about it all the time.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Cash gives you options. If you have money, if you have liquidity, now liquidity is important, meaning you have money that's readily available to you. It's not tied up in a business. It's not tied up in real estate. That liquidity gives you, a lot of flexibility and freedom and independence. And the more liquidity you have, the more options you have.
So you said two important things in there that I heard: flexibility and liquidity. Yeah. And when I sit there and I listen to that, that allows you options. You know, I see these guys posting stuff on social media on a regular basis, and what they're saying is, hey, are you earning X percent? Because if you're not earning the X percent, then you're losing out. So come talk to me. I can help you out. But I think what they're doing is, when they're coming and giving those guaranteed interest rates, they're typically tying money up for any given amount of time, whether it's 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I see you laughing. What's the smile for?
Is this a segue to our topic?
Yes. Let's go there.
So Xavier Xavier has a bone to pick, and I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it here in this podcast. All right. And this is actually a conversation I've been having with multiple people. Xavier more regularly because he's, separated by me by a wall. But the frustration with financial advice given over social media.
It's such broad advice. People see this advice on social media. They're calling you, they're calling me, they're calling their next door neighbor, and now they're having these conversations. One I saw was, are you earning a guaranteed rate of return of 5% on your money? If you're not, then you need to call me because the bank isn't doing you justice. And I see this, and I had to sit back, and I was just like, wow.
5%? A lot of people listening would
Right.
take a guaranteed 5% of their money. No risk.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's can I get something out there around that? Probably. Depends on the environment that we're in. However, are you giving up liquidity and flexibility?
Yeah, so that's a risk. Giving up liquidity is a risk.
Right.
Losing access to your cash is a risk. Yeah, so let's take a step back. Can we take a step back real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about financial advice on social media. There's a good chance you're watching this video right now on social media. All right. So in your mind, Xavier, you're frustrated with these people giving advice on social media, but yet are we not doing the same?
In our conversation that we had earlier today, right? One of the things that we talked about is I'm not talking products. And I'm giving general advice, but I'm also telling you need to sit down with a planner. You need to sit down with your advisor and have this conversation with him or her. Because now you can tailor that advice specifically to you and your needs, as opposed to, let me go out and purchase this because it's a good thing to do. I mean, you got to have those conversations.
Yeah, so I think that when you're getting doesn't matter, and financial advice anywhere, okay? You always, as a retail investor or a retail client, a client who is going to a financial advisor or listening to someone on social media, I think it's a very good thing to ask yourself, what does the person who's sharing this information with me have to gain? What do they stand to gain? And here's the thing about social media influencers, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, is most of these influencers are rewarded by followers, or rewarded by controversy, right? More controversial what they say, the more followers, the more people they influence. The more people they influence, the more chance they have to monetize their channel. So sometimes they might not be selling anything. They might not be selling product, but they're giving advice that could be either clickbait, it could be trendy, it could be controversial. That's just driving traffic. The more people they influence, the more money they can make, the more they can monetize these accounts. And then on the flip side, you're talking, I think I know the ad, because we've been talking about this, a series of these ads for several months now. These are people who are trying to sell a very specific product.
Correct.
And,
right.
And in the financial space, okay, man, everything is so nuanced in terms of, is this right for you? Is this a good product for you? Is this appropriate for you? And I can't stand that broad, like you said, prescriptive financial advice that says, Xavier, if you buy this product, you will never work again. You will retire without any worries. Right. All your financial woes will be resolved.
And our motto, when we had that first conversation on coming together and doing this podcast and talking about stuff about money they didn't teach you in school, our goal was to give our listeners another tool in their tool belt to where when they sit down and have those conversations, they know something, and they can now have a conversation about what matters to them.
So I have 5 kind of types of videos or advice that typically I see on social media, and I want to kind of use this not as a warning necessarily, but just educate our listeners. If you're getting advice, this is kind of maybe like a filter that you can run things through as you're listening to financial advice. Now, let me just say this: there's some influencers out there that are giving some good information. Okay, I'm not saying that it's all bad out there, but number one, okay, be careful for get rich quick schemes. It just doesn't happen. Okay, the person who's sharing their video, they might have gotten rich quick. But I'm going to tell you that is not the standard way to building wealth. Okay, I'm not telling you don't pursue opportunities that could lead to quick wealth. I'm just saying that is not the typical path to building wealth.
I'm going to even go a step further and say, if you're seeing this on social media and everyone is talking about it, that ship has probably sailed.
Yeah, for sure. So if it's a get quick, ask questions. Be a cynic. Be a cynic. Whenever you're taking advice from someone you do not know, who has not earned your trust, be incredibly cynical and ask a ton of questions. And number one question you should ask is, what's their motivation? What do they get out of it? All right. So number two kind of warning or filter or type of video that I'm seeing out there you be on the lookout for. It's investing in highly speculative things, whether it's crypto or some meme stock, right? We saw this over the past few years with AMC, for example, and GameStop. You see a lot of videos out there about, hey, if you just invest all your money, this is the right time. I'm not saying don't invest in those things. I'm just saying ask questions.
Ask questions and understand what you're getting involved in.
A lot of these investments, they're complicated. They're highly volatile. Someone recently was talking to me about they're trading in the currency markets, and they made a ton of money in the currency markets. And they like, if I do this now with 3 times the money, then I'll have this much money. I'm like, that's not the typical template in that space. So if you're playing in that space, you better not be playing with money you're counting on. All right.
And what's your third?
Number three. Man, I'm going to tell you, some of these people make it sound so easy investing in real estate. Right? I mean, golly, I probably see more of these videos about if you just, investing in real estate is the easiest way to build wealth. I know a lot of people who've built wealth in real estate. It's not for everybody, and it's not always easy.
I know a lot of guys that are making a ton of money in real estate as well. But as you said, it's not easy. They're putting a lot of time and effort into doing this. Rules and regulations change within the city on what you can and can't do. We're starting to see that in New Orleans when you look at Airbnb. Where can you have an Airbnb? So you may start out thinking and making money now, but it's going to change. Now we're not saying don't invest in real estate. I actually think it's a good portion of your portfolio. However, you've got to understand that there are risks that are associated with real estate.
Yeah, and again, it takes work. There's the real estate. Real estate can be a grind. It's not as easy as some people would like to make it think. Now, there's people who are making a lot of money in real estate. They love it. That's what they do. It gives them life. To me, owning property outside of the house I live in, man, it would stress me out. Maybe it's because I'm in New Orleans and I know how expensive insurance is and taxes are, and I don't want to deal with renters or people like that. So to me, it seems like a very painful way to build wealth. But that goes back to this idea that what works for me is not going to work for you. That's why it's so important to have, if you're looking to build wealth, it is so important to work with a financial planner who knows and understands your values, who can help you build wealth in a way that's consistent and aligns with what gives you life and not what worked for someone else.
So this isn't advice to anyone, but when I did have renters, it was a headache. Dude, I should have outsourced that to have somebody manage that property for me, because the going in and the fixing the little things, the getting the calls at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night just drove me crazy. We actually wound up having to evict one of our renters. It was a nightmare.
Okay. All right. Fourth thing. Man, I tell you, some of these TikTok influencers make you think that anybody can be a day trader. Anybody can go in. You're laughing because you've seen it, right?
The one that I sent you last night.
Was that a...
Yeah, he's it's an individual that is a day trader. He puts these posts out on social media, and he's got these 4 monitors in the back, and he's making all this money, and he's telling people he's doubled or tripled his money within the last week. It's crazy.
Yeah, anybody can do it, y'all. It's so easy. Anybody can do it. Yeah, I don't believe it. Here's the problem with day traders. The vast majority of day traders are losing money. They're not making money. They're those people who have success. I'm not denying that. But it's not just buy my software and we'll tell you when to buy and when to sell. Y'all, it's not that easy. I'm telling you right now.
All right, Eric, go ahead. What's your number 5?
Number 5. This may be the most controversial one out there. You ready?
And I see the wheels turning.
Wheels turning. You're going to love this one. All right. Life insurance is the end-all, be-all product that will solve all of your financial woes and your financial goals.
Man,
why are you hemming and hawing over there?
So I've spent 22 years looking at and utilizing insurance and financial plans. And one of the things that I see is you have agents out there or individuals that misuse life insurance. It's not the be-all, end-all that's out there. It has its place. And look, I've got permanent life insurance on myself. I love it, but it has to fit within the structure of the plan and that strategy and the individual.
Yeah, you and I both came up on the life insurance side of the business. So this is not a knock against life insurance at all. Like you said, we both own permanent life insurance. But when I see some of these videos on TikTok that talk about, become your own bank, buy life insurance, it's not that easy. You got to put a lot of money in your life insurance contract to be able to borrow from it. Yes, there are some fantastic laws and attributes of permanent life insurance if you have the funds to actually have it. It is not a solution, a prescriptive solution across the board for anyone who's trying to save for retirement. It is not, people. Life insurance is not. I very rarely will say very definitive things. Life insurance is not a replacement for traditional retirement plans and savings. It is not. If you want to say it's a supplement, that's one thing. But I'm fired up because there's this one individual. I'm not even gonna say the name because I don't even want. I don't want to even.
And you and I go back and forth on this on often. I mean that was for many years. I mean that's one of the pieces that I utilize. And again, like you said, I still believe in it, and I think it has its place.
Yeah, we recommend life insurance to our clients all the time.
However, you have to, make sure that it's within your best interest and within your strategy that you're trying to accomplish to utilize life insurance.
Yeah, there's this one TikToker that's got me fired up right now, and oh my goodness, and it seems like a lot of these people are like, I was hard on my luck, I was bankrupt, I was eating crackers and Cheez Whip for dinner, and then I found this, and it's like the life insurance, like it's not magic. You don't just snap your fingers, buy a life insurance policy, then all of a sudden you have money to borrow from yourself.
Right.
Right. But man, this guy has a ton of followers, and I'm like, man, just be cynical. Be cynical of who you let speak wisdom to you.
And Eric, I'm going to even throw this one out there.
Throw it out there.
Know what you want your life insurance to do for you. What are you trying to accomplish with life insurance? If you have that down, then life insurance, the type of life insurance that you do is going to fit and be a perfect match for you. But understand what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, but Xavier, financial planning is not a one-time event.
No, it's not.
Financial planning is a continual thing. There are new variables and new input constantly in your life that impact your money. That
Absolutely.
you may have a need for term insurance today, but 10 years from now, you may have a need for permanent insurance. Right there, there's a place for it. So it's not a one-time event. It's a constant revisiting, a regular revisiting of, hey, what are these new inputs, these new variables? What are the tax laws? What's happening? Right. What's happening with estate planning? What's happening with has my debt gone up? Are there more people that are financially that I'm responsible for? There's this constant change. But anyway, so here's the point.
I want to throw this out as well. So when we're saying permanent life insurance, we're not picking on one type of policy. I mean, do know there's 3 to 4 different types of permanent life insurance policies that are out there currently on the market. So we're talking broad.
Yeah, and this episode is not about knocking life insurance. It's just here's I want to wrap up. If I can wrap this up and kind of as we conclude this recording here, just be very cautious who you let or who you accept advice from, particularly financial advice. There's some great stuff on social media on finances. There's some people that I follow. So one of the issues is a lot of these people are not licensed. They're not certified. There's no regulatory body looking over them. You and I could not say 90% of the stuff that is said on social media about financial products and financial planning because our regulators would shut us down. And the reason they would shut us down, this is important. The reason they would shut us down is because so many people have been taken advantage of with some of these types of products. So many people have been led astray with some of the advice that's given flippantly. So because of our licenses, we can't say it, but our securities license, our investment licenses, there's people who might have insurance licenses that can say a lot of stuff that we can't say. Mm-hmm. And it's we're held to a higher standard, and that's good. And I wish everyone was held to a higher standard. Everyone who is selling or giving financial advice should be held to the highest possible standard, that fiduciary standard, the standard that we're held to. I'm fired up. The standard that we're held to as certified financial planners, that we have to give advice that is in the client's best interest. And listeners, listen to this. You might be working with insurance people or financial people that are not required by law. This is wild. They're not required by law to give you advice that's in your best interest. That sounds crazy. That sounds absolutely crazy, but that is the truth. Okay? Ask questions. Understand what the motivation of people giving you financial advice is, particularly on social media. Are they motivated to stir up controversy, to get followers so they can monetize their page? Are they motivated because they're trying to sell you a particular product because they make a ton of money when they sell these products to you? Ask questions. Be a cynic. Be very, very prudent and judicious about who you let give you financial advice.
I think you're going to get a ton of questions after this one. From the emails, the calls.
Email me, call me. I don't know. Yeah. From who? People giving bad advice on TikTok, on social media.
Look, we love those questions. So there's never a dumb question. Look, ask us questions. If you guys, if there's anything,
I've been asked dumb questions before.
No,
it's okay.
But you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say there's no dumb questions. Come on.
There's dumb questions. Come on. There's dumb. The questions where if you had read the email I sent you, Xavier, you wouldn't have asked that question. That's a dumb question.
Maybe
I see what you're saying. Be curious.
Maybe.
Here's. Let me see. I think this is what you're saying. Be curious.
Be curious.
Be curious.
Be curious. If you don't know the answer, ask the question to clarify.
Yeah. This is your financial life, people. This is your future. Make sure that the advice you take and implement are coming from people who understand your value and are looking to make sure the decisions you make aren't in alignment with where you're trying to be long term. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think some of these TikTok social media influencers know you. They don't care about you.
It's all about getting the followers.
Speaking of followers, if you like what you're listening to, follow us on your favorite podcast listening app. Xavier, I'll give you the last word.
Hey, it was great being back. I've been out of the loop for the past month and a half, but I'm glad to be back with you, Eric.
Welcome back.